And we're back with Dr. Shannon, the author of 12 Steps for Wealthy People, How to Make Healthy Your Habit. We want to go through as many of these 12 steps as we can. You kind of touched on the first one, which is expose yourself. Number 2 is locate yourself. What does that mean?
Locate yourself, really discover where you are and be bold enough and brave enough to say, this is where I am. You know, a lot of times people say, you know, I don't like standing in front of the mirror because, you know, I don't like seeing what is. And I go, just see what is. You know, just because you are where you are doesn't mean you have to stay there, but just embrace what is and be honest.
How do people know what's healthy for them? Because you were kind of mentioning before that, you know, you gained 15 pounds and that was above what your weight should be, and thin doesn't necessarily mean healthy. So how can somebody know what is a good place for them to be, whether or not that's a little bit smaller or maybe a little bit bigger, not necessarily overweight, but a little bit bigger?
You know, I think there's just a knowing, when people know when they're at their best. You know, there are a lot of charts, there are a lot of formulas to figure out exactly where you need to be, but it's really knowing. I believe everybody has that knowing of this is my best weight, and not because somebody says this is my best weight, but it's just an overall experience of wealth, you know, that wealth within being expressed in your mind, body, and spirit, and just a sense of knowing that you are at your best.
And that kind of, I think, maybe rolls then into number 3, which is know yourself.
Know yourself. So often I'll ask people, I'll say, so what do you desire for your life? And they go, I don't know. And I go, you know what? I believe you do know. It's just that knowing hasn't become conscious yet. And a lot of times it's because people, I believe, are afraid to admit what it is they desire because they think that they have to figure out how to get there or how to get that, when really the beauty's in the knowing. And once you know, it'll come.
Yeah.
What about be a celebrity?
Isn't that wonderful? It's about, you know what, the word celebrity means one who is celebrated or one who celebrates. So it's really about falling in love with your life and falling in love with who you are and really embracing that. Not saying I have to be this or I have to be that, or you know, that whole feeling of like not enoughness. It's being a celebrity is exactly the opposite. It's saying I am enough and I am grateful and I love myself and I love those in my life, and starting to just tap into that power of celebration.
But isn't some of that, though, celebrating the right thing? Because some people may be watching going, well, yeah, I celebrate the value menu at Burger King all day long. It's fantastic.
Well, you know what? If you go back to the first, second, and third step, it's about really being honest.
Yeah.
And really, people know the truth. And when they can really tap into it, because a lot of times those people that are celebrating with food, kind of like when I said I gained that weight, I was trying to basically help myself feel better because I had a pain inside. And that's what a lot of people do. We have pains inside and we either turn to food, medication, you know, whatever, people's reasons for what they do and what they take in. But really it's getting to the heart of the matter and saying, where is this coming from?
But wouldn't you say that that takes us on a journey? Actually, when you look at these chapters, it's like more than just dealing with your weight. Why did you do it? How can you stop doing it? How then when you become that celebrity, then you want to pursue what you've always wanted to do now that you have this better attitude about yourself. It just takes you in a totally different direction.
Absolutely, Valerie, and you're hitting on something so important about this book. You know, a lot of times people will talk about the diet and the exercise, but this book these 12 steps are not about that. If you notice that they're at the end, and it's because it is a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery,
yes,
of falling in love with yourself. You know, we live in a world today where it's made self-love really look so ugly and so egotistical and so, you know, lustful. It's really not self-love, it's self-lust. But when you really tap into who God's created us to be and really tap into wanting and desiring to be our best and knowing that God's put those desires in our heart, all of a sudden it's just, we just become that wealthy, healthy self. And eating well and exercise is just, it's just part of who we are. It's no longer a should.
And you touched on something in the beginning of this book that I'm pretty passionate about, and a lot of people are here at LaCie Broadcasting through are making healthy choices, and that's supplementation. Is that important that people take some sort of vitamin or mineral supplement, you know, to go along with their healthy diet and go along with their exercise regimen?
Absolutely. So often we're not getting the nutrients that we desire to have in our food just because the soil's depleted today.
Say that again.
The soil is depleted. It's true.
We've been saying it for over a year now.
Yes, and so I totally agree with you. But the thing is, a lot of times people are eating so poorly that the first step is just to start making, right choices.
Yeah.
Like I said, whole, green, natural, healthy, organic foods. But even when you're eating all the right stuff, so often we're not getting the minerals. So absolutely, a multivitamin, a multimineral, and really what I do in my office is we take it a step further and we do testing. We do hair tissue mineral analysis, so we know exactly what's going on for the individual, because why guess when you can know?
Yeah. And going back to what Valerie said about it being a journey, it is important. We talked about this also on yesterday's program, that you don't have to go from eating the value menu every day to all of a sudden all organic, you're raw vegan.
Exactly.
There's a journey, there's a middle ground that you can take. Right?
Exactly. I had a guy who went through the 12-step program, if you will, a 12-week program. It's really a lifelong journey, but we do a program where we work with people for 12 weeks to help them start making it a habit. And he started at 500 pounds, and just making small changes, within 12 weeks he lost 89 pounds. And for somebody like that who goes from sitting on the couch, who can barely even walk to the television set, he doesn't need to, he's got his remotes. For him, exercise is just a little bit more activity than what he was doing before. So all of a sudden he was walking more, and so often we think exercise is like getting on a treadmill for an hour. No, it's just doing a little more activity than what you did yesterday, and that will transform you from the inside out.
Now we only have about a minute left. I want to skip all the way to the last one. Be a revolution.
Be a revolution. It is about sharing the message with those that we touch, because we all have a story, and we are transformed, I believe, by telling our story. It's our testimony, the power of our testimony. So I just ask people, if this book has changed your life and the steps in this book, make sure you tell everybody about it, because we can inspire others by being our best. And there really is a lot of great information in here. The book is Dr. Shannon Knows. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you so much. If you'd like to connect with Dr., you can go to cornerstoneforlife.com, or you can go to our website, harvest-tv.com, click on show info in the menu bar for an easy link back to her site. We'll be right back with more Harvest Show and Designs for Giving with Harold Hazen and Pete Summerall after this.